Welcome to Conscious Gatherers. Tonight's episode is episode number 75, and today's date is August the 23rd, 2022. So welcome everybody, and I'm sitting here with AJ Royce.
Hello.
So as always, we have a lot to share with you, and some things has come to us, and also happening experiences that we've had, and just realizing more about ourselves. So this is an ongoing process, and it's the way it is. You know, it's being in this human form that we all decided to come into body in, and at this time to go through the processes of what we're going through now in the Great Awakening. Another word that's been used, discourse is ascension. And indeed, that's what is going on, and that means within our consciousness. So the more we are awake in our consciousness, the more our world will change in a most wonderful way.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. All right. Well, welcome everybody. And 75 episodes. Wow. Okay.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah. So it's been, 2.5 years, I think, since we started doing these podcasts. So as you know, it's very important to us to share what we have to say. And any of you listening, you're most welcome to share too. So we welcome that, and we appreciate you listening to us too. So, all right, should we get going?
Sure.
All right. I actually was on August the 16th. I got some information, and of this year, and so I sat down and I wrote, and the title of it is the breakdown has begun. So I was like, whoa, okay. So I'm going to share some of this with you right now. So just listen, and any comments, Royce, that you have to explain some of this, please step in. So, we're sitting here together, so I can give her the look like, okay, take over.
She gives me the look, too.
I know. Your turn. All right. So, excuse me, but I've had a cough and a cold, and it seems like I have about 3 a year, and I think it's called having grandchildren and whatever, but my body somehow is working this through. And I did ask earlier that it's just part of my purging process. So think of purge in many, many ways. So whatever is in my system is getting rid of stuff I don't need. So yeah. So as you know, we sit and meditate or tune in, etc., and we get messages. I call it Podcast Tuesday because we're together all day and then get messages, and of course have some fun, have some lunch and things like that. So anyways, that's pretty much, this is our life. So anyways, I thought I'd share some of that with you. All right, let's get down to this article that I did write or channeled a few days ago or a week ago. Just a moment again. All right, I'm purging, guys. Okay, the breakdown has begun. Humanity is in the throes of the total breakdown of the old establishment, not to return again. What appears to be appalling is answerable to those who understand the processes of the ones who deceive you. Is it Satan? Many are reporting this is so. Therefore, look at the word Satan. Who or what is Satan? Is it not sat upon? Humanity has been and continues to be duped into believing one being is responsible for the deceit. Carefully look around and see what befalls you. Is it you letting go of the preconceived maniacal hindrances put upon you? Interesting use of words. Untangle the web. It cannot hold you unless you allow it. That's a biggie. Let loose and live. You may call those forces satanic, yet release their hold. Do not be tricked in the old paradigm of needed to be saved. Okay. Do you have any comments?
Well, I think the wording of that is really interesting. You know, that the old paradigm needing to be saved. There are a lot of people who have forgotten how to take responsibility for themselves and their own actions, and so they're vulnerable to whatever is happening around them, and they get to a point to where, you know, that dark pit is so deep, and eventually they you know, not having built up the muscle of taking responsibility for yourself, they have handed over and say, I need somebody to save me, you know, somebody take me out of this, somebody do something, you know, instead of trying to rectify the situation yourself.
Look in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know, we can do it. We can do it, but we're in this together. Do remember that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's, you know, use the power that you are, but realize you have that power. All right, there's a little more to this that I will share. It says, come to understand that your belief systems are being shaken and shaken to the core, what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Be not afraid of what lies ahead. Lies being shown just for what they are, untruth. Yeah, interesting. That's, you know, two different definitions of lies.
Yeah.
Mankind shall rise from the ashes of old to reveal their true nature of greatness. Believe in yourself. Soon the stickiness of the web shall release all. So I'm just going to share part of the rest of this. It says, many in our governments will step aside or be forced to surrender their ways, W-A-Y-S. This leaves a vacancy, yet it will not be filled as it is or once was. Also, be aware of the trials and tribulations that will be shown on your media sites. Use discernment in all you see and hear. I'm going to go ahead and read some of this. Look at it. Miss Royce here. It's like, I'm going for it. Because I know we're supposed to share it all. And so this is almost all. Put it that way. It will appear that this is our 45th president, has finally, you know, put that in quotes, been defeated, yet he has not. He will step forward in the coming days to unload the misgivings of those who oppose him as he unleashes the manuscripts, videos, and recorded conversations to out what has actually been going on. Remain calm as the storm ensues. The storm soon will come to a halt, and the divisions that have been fostered will change into unity. It will be a bright day for all. So I really wanted to share, you know, because we contemplated on that last part because it talked about this one man. But I'm not seeing that as a negative whatsoever. So what we're seeing today unfold, I think there's a lot of surprises for many that will happen, but it needed to happen. So we're going to start seeing all kinds of different things that may make you more confused, but just watch, and then also watch the feelings that you're getting through this whole process. And you know, many people want to get up and fight and but do it in a very peaceful manner, because there's more that Royce is going to share, but all has to do with love. And it's like, come on, guys, let's do this with love and not any negative forces. So things are happening. I wanted you to be aware of that. I know some of the stuff that I just read has already been talked about in some of the, probably not the media, but some of the podcasts for quite a while. And so I think a lot of it's going to come to fruition, and that is we're going to be shown a lot that people are going to be shocked about.
Yes, and I was thinking about when you were talking about the fighting, if we could just try to do things a bit more peacefully, we'd all be better served by it. Because, you were talking about that web.
Mm-hmm.
When something is stuck in a web, it gets more stuck the more it fights. If you can relax and we can find our center again, that center where the peace and the love reside,
mm-hmm.
That's when we get free of this sticky web that's been holding us in place.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to move. We have to keep raising up. We can't just stay like this.
It's happening.
Yes.
I mean, it's obvious it's happening. And it's like, is this world going insane? And I had another friend said, I feel like I'm in the twilight zone. And I told her, I said, yeah, I've heard other people say the exact same thing. Like, what in the heck is happening? And people are following some of this really weird stuff. So I'm not going to go through all what that is, but sometimes you're like, what? What are they thinking? Yeah, be those that are thinking that way, be right word I want, be calm, reassure them everything is going to be okay. But if they start striking, then move back. Am I making sense?
Yeah, when you're too close to a cobra and it strikes,
mm-hmm.
If the venom gets on you, that means you were too close, right?
Yeah.
So when the snake starts to strike, get out of the way.
Yeah. 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 And whatever they're going through, allow them to go through it, and you back away and say, no, that's not a part of my life. And there's no reason why you need to be part of that, even though you want to help these people, because most of you listening to us, that's where we are. We're very empathic, and we want to help people, and so, whatever that takes. But, I tell you what, to put ourselves in danger, that's something different.
Yes.
So just know, use discernment when to back off.
Yes, definitely. There's that thing of boundaries. I've been learning a lot about boundaries here lately, learning some very interesting things that I needed to take forward with me. And it's not just the personal boundaries just for me, but when you start thinking about those personal boundaries, everybody else has boundaries too. And so there are some people that just, you said we like to help people. We want to help people. There's some people who just do not want to be helped.
Yeah.
And, that is a very difficult thing for me to be respectful of. That's a hard one to walk. It's easier for me to just, establish where my personal boundaries are and pay attention to that and wish for that to be respected. But to respect others who don't want the interference, that needs to be respected too. So that's one of those things that I'm learning right now. Oh, that's a difficult one.
Well, thank you. I mean, do you want to go into anything else on that?
No, you want me to talk about this other thing that I got here?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
When I was on the drive here this morning, I turned on the radio and I flipped a few channels and came across this fellow, a minister, giving a sermon, and there was something about his voice that caught my attention, and so I started listening. And he started talking about runners getting ready to run the race, and then he started likening that to running the race in a spiritual sense. And so we are like spiritual athletes. And I had never thought of it quite like that. So what does an athlete do? He prepares for the race. And how do you prepare for the race? Two things that you do is you get rid of the things that weigh you down and trip you up. So I thought that was so interesting, is his wording, get rid of those things that, we talk about getting rid of the things that hold us back, whether it be old habits or whether it be being with a group of people that just, it no longer fits anymore. They, for whatever reason, you've stepped beyond some of those boundaries. So, we are changing every day, and that's, you have to be flexible, or else you stumble running the race. We need to strengthen ourselves to be able to be strong spiritual athletes, because that's a race that doesn't quit. You don't retire from that. You can't just step out and it keeps on going. It's not like a foot race. You keep on going for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And on.
I was thinking about, a lot of people have a difficult time of letting go of what no longer serves them.
Yes. Well, it's habit. A lot of it.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, what can I change in me? And, it's difficult for people to even recognize that, but there's many of us that can assist. And so, assist one another. Now, you can ask, you can suggest, and then if that person wants to listen, so be it. If they don't, or if whatever they have to tell you don't agree with, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But it's starting the process.
Bev and I, it's really good having a very close friend that you can bounce things off of, because it's like having a wall in your house that has needed to be painted for a long time, and you've gotten used to seeing it being in disrepair, so you don't even notice it anymore. But if you have a really good friend, a very close friend, that you can accept a little bit of good criticism from.
Constructive criticism,
yes,
I think
yes,
is what we call it.
Constructive criticism. Absolutely, that's what I was looking for. Bev will tell me, and I'll tell her if we see something that, hey, I think maybe you're not aware that this is going on, and or maybe you just don't see it, whatever. But this is what I'm seeing, and hey, if it serves you good, if it doesn't, then just throw it away.
Yeah. And be not offended by it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very offended because, okay, what's the matter with me that they see something?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And am I not doing something right? Am I, if this is the old paradigm, like you have to stand up to certain, what's the word, lines of progress, and that could be school, it can be in family, this is the way it's supposed to be, whatever that means.
Yeah, or kids, peer pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, peer pressure in adults, I see it often.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, wait, then you stop and it's like, wait, what am I doing? And if something doesn't serve you anymore and you want to get out of something, and I do hear those stories, but they're so afraid to get out, be it a relationship, be it financial, through the relationship, which happens often. It's like, if you can talk to somebody clearly, there's ways of getting out of it. And you do ask for help, and always go within yourself.
Yes, and when we're looking, this is what I've found for myself anyway. When my focus is on me and my life, I don't notice that other stuff so much. I don't notice the keeping up with the Joneses, that kind of thing. It just it's meaningless. But if my focus is not within myself, on my life and me, then I get caught up in that external meaningless stuff. So So just, it's very important where you keep your focus.
Mm-hmm. You can, even if you start getting caught up in it, and then you realize, and like, wait a minute, I really don't want to go here.
Yeah.
And it did happen today. We were talking about something, and obviously wasn't a real positive note about what's going on. And so I was asking Royce, do you want to hear about it? And she said no. So I said, okay. So it's not gonna mean anything to her. And it's like, wow, did you see what just happened? But
isn't that a neat thing?
It is.
We were talking about being at a certain point in your relationship where you can just be yourself, be totally honest, and the relationship goes so much nicer that way.
It's called freeing, and we have used that word freeing a lot.
Yep.
So anyway, think about all of this because we are the change makers. We're doing it, guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we are. Movers and the shakers.
There. I'm gonna read this because I got it right before the show, and then I think you have an important message I thought was very good.
Okay.
I heard the storm, clouds, lightning, then the calm, the breakdown of America, then the rebuild. Many countries will follow, and I'm thinking a lot of countries may be in front of America. That's where I live. It does look like, we are breaking down as a country, but that doesn't mean we're going away. We're going to be rebuilding it even much better than what it has been.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you have to be able to tear down the old before the new can be rebuilt. Well, new can be built, period.
Yeah. I was earlier talking in that channeling I was sharing with you earlier about many in our governments will step aside or be forced to surrender their ways. And I'm not just talking about the United States. I'm talking about the world governments. Anyway, then I received the words, this leaves a vacancy, yet it will not be filled as it once was. So, things are going to be on the uptick. So anyway, I'm going to let you share what you received too.
Yeah, well, right before I get started with that, did we talk about the compromise thing?
No, we talked about boundaries.
Yeah. There's something else about compromise. I don't even know how to lead into this, but maybe just to draw out the point that the way people treat you is actually the way that you allow them to treat you. If it's not right, then it's up to you to change it. But before that can happen, you have to understand where it is all throughout your life that you have actually compromised
against your will.
Yes, well, and willingly, because we didn't know that we could do any different.
Well, yeah.
But I think that this particular date and time is a time where we say no more compromising, no more compromising my values, no more compromising anything. It's not gotten me anywhere, playing that compromise game. So it just doesn't fit anymore. It's one of those things that getting ready for this race, this spiritual race, one of those things that you throw out, the compromising everything about yourself, your life.
Your true values, as you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know I've been there. I don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
But the forthrightness, that's been coming up in the last a few episodes. So there's a lot to be said on that.
Yeah. Okay. When we were getting ready right before the podcast, this is what I got. Listen, my children, and you shall hear about the midnight ride of Paul Revere. It is midnight, my darlings. Midnight, the darkest part of the night, but also the beginning of a new day. a new day filled with light. The time of sorrows is almost over. Be strong, adorned with the full armor of the Spirit of love and light will prevail. We have been walking beside you through this long, dark night, and we will not leave your side. We are your brothers and sisters of the stars, those who have witnessed what you are going through now in other places. We say, be strong and love strong, for love will always prevail.
Yay. Thank you.
Hallelujah.
I know. I love that. So, yeah. So we just got this message. And as you know, we're both channels or telepathic communication with other beings, whatever words you want to use. So we both have that ability. And sometimes we're reading each other's minds a lot. So it's like, did I get that from you or did I get that from elsewhere? A lot of times it's from each other.
Yep.
So
that's like that last thing that you got. You were seeing the storm and all, and and I said, well, that's funny because while you were getting that, in my head I was singing, when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high and don't be afraid of the dark.
Yeah. So, it does get funny a lot.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Really.
It does.
All right. Well, one thing that we haven't done in most of our podcasts is tell us about your books that you've written.
Oh, okay. I have 2 published books and one that's in the works. But the 2 published ones are When the Night Comes Creeping, which has to do with my own personal spiritual awakening and some really interesting things that led up to that. There's many different things that can help wake you up, and
it's really a great book because she'll take a lot of the instances or experiences that you've had, and this is with Earth entities along with other entities.
Off-worlders.
Yes. So, and then what she gleaned from that in the I don't know if you want to use the word learned, but what you understood from your experiences.
Yes, I've told people many times that I can only talk about what I've experienced myself. Anything else, I've got no footing. I can't talk about it. So I just talk about a lot of the things that I've experienced myself. And the other book, which actually horned in on the writing of When the Night Comes Creeping, it said, no, I'm supposed to come first. And it was a book on sacred geometry called Walking into the Eye of God. And sacred geometry is a deep, deep part of me. It's like etched into every cell that I have. I love it. And that's the way I see the world, as this beautiful, intricate puzzle where everything fits together and one thing leads to another, and it's geometric and beautiful. So those are the 2 books that are published, When the Night Comes Creeping and Walking into the Eye of God.
Okay, where can we find your books?
Amazon is a good place. BarnesandNoble.com is another place. That'll get you started.
Okay, good. Well, thank you. Well, I've written 3 books, Mystery of the Universes, and you'll see that, of course, they'll pop up on our podcast. So that is a photo of my 3 books, and so much information in all of the books. Each book has 80 writings in them, and some of the writings may be 1 page, some may be 3 or 4. So they are relatively short. Most of them are quite deep.
Yeah.
And so, what I was told, it gives you a snippet of information, and then if somebody's studying whatever I'm writing about or what's channeled through me, they can write a whole book on it or books. So it's up to them. So a lot of this stuff when I was first getting it, it's like, whoa, I didn't understand it. And then as time went on, I'm starting to understand a lot more. But I too have to reread the writings.
I do too. But don't you find that when you reread it, it's like, wow, that was me.
Yeah. Yeah, we do pat ourselves on the back a lot. but that's okay.
I mean, beauty comes through all of us in wild and crazy ways, but it's unique.
It is, and trust what you get. So many of you listening want to write down your thoughts, that sort of thing. It may not make sense at the time, usually will make sense later.
Yeah.
So, or you start looking at it and you go, wow, I wrote that? So, yeah, you did. So, but anyway, there's a book 2 and a book 3, and just a lot of information. And mine are available on Amazon and other online bookstores, along with Kindle for those 3. So, well, I thank you all for being with us tonight. Do you have any words?
I just love you. I love all of you listening, and I thank you so much for staying on the planet at this particular time, because we need you here so much. Just be strong, speak your truth without fear, because fear is it's not going to get you anywhere. It stops the energy flow. So just love yourself and don't be afraid. I love you, and I'm just very happy that you're here.
Thank you. Well, as your dissertation, or whatever you want to call it, on Paul Revere, love will prevail.
Yes.
So, like, wow. And just appreciate wherever somebody is in their life, and they may not be at that same point as you are, and that's okay. We want to shake them and say, can't you see this? But then it's like, no, back off, because when they're ready, they're going to step forward. And I've seen this with people, and I've been amazed at some of the awakening processes people have gone through. And I'm like, wow, I've done this for 30, 40 years, and some people are getting it in a matter of months. I'm like, geez, because it's a lot. It's a lot, because your whole paradigm changes. And so, that's happening. It's happening.
Yeah, and to hear what some of these little children who are coming in, what they have to say and what they're doing, just outrageously wonderful things.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking about that earlier, and I know we got to go, but how do we, what's going on with our children right now? How do we, change their way they're being taught, et cetera, that we don't feel is the best for them. And but thinking about it, kids are, talked about the word adaptable. I wasn't sure if I like that word.
Resilient. They're
resilient. There you go. Because I'm seeing schools change and being more hands-on, and also schools working with the children to show their strengths, and then support those that are not as those parts of their lives that are not as much strength, such as math, for instance. But give them the basics of that, but that let them just blossom. Yeah, good word. Blossom into something that they're truly interested in. So I just think it's really going to be interesting, and I think the kids are going to make that change. A lot of them may need some help, but I feel it's going to be a lot of help there as each of us changes and the world changes, because it is up to us. And as I said, it's what came through on that channeling. There's nobody here to save us but ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Our next episode is going to be on September 6th. So, so if anybody wants to listen live, you're most welcome to, and you can get all the information on our YouTube channel. If you want to listen live or to chime in on what we're talking about, that's fine. But thank you, and in 2 weeks, we'll be back.
Bye-bye.
Good night.